Please help support the channel by visiting our Amazon store, affiliate link below. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel, and Twitter Twitter kind of sucks now. I mean, Twitter's kind of sucked for a while, but it's gone off the deep end at this point. So this is the profile for Jack. Jack is currently the CEO of Twitter. He came back a couple years ago to fix Twitter, and he ultimately never did. He has not been able to do anything. In fact, the company is in dire straits right now, and no matter how much virtue signaling he attempts to do, it's not actually going to solve the problem. So what we had here the other day is this boycott. Women boycott Twitter. This hashtag, big hashtag, right? Apparently yesterday, Friday the 13th, all women who used it, feminists, progressives, so on and so forth, you know, even male feminists were like, I'm gonna leave Twitter for a day in order to show solidarity with Rose McGowan because she was suspended. But why was she suspended? Because she was posting people's personal information, and she was suspended for 12 hours as a result of that, because Twitter was following its terms of service. It did its job appropriately. But in the wake of Harvey Weinstein, that can't happen, right? That can't happen. People can't think logically or rationally when dealing with a situation like this, as proven by BuzzFeed here, running an article talking about what to do with shitty media men. This is a particular Google document that's being circulated around right now that is like labeling, shaming, and blaming men in media, mostly Hollywood, and the entertainment industry as being abusers, harassers, and rapists. All anonymous, right? All without any kind of way to validate or verify the information. But that's okay. That's okay. Women were boycotting Twitter in solidarity with Rose McGowan because she was suspended and Twitter did its job. But Jack don't care about that. Jack likes the virtue signal, make Jack feel better about Jack. Now, this is what Jack has to say. There's a couple posts here. Saying here, we see voices being silenced on Twitter every day. We've been working to counteract this for the past 2 years. Yes, by silencing conservative or libertarian voices. Voices of people who have opinions you don't deem to be appropriate. People who you view as having wrongthink. These are the kind of people you have been silencing, Jack. It's not that people have been silenced on Twitter. Right? If people who you're going to say have marginalized voices on Twitter, which, let's be fair, let's be utterly bluntly realistic here. If anyone has a marginalized voice on Twitter, it's conservatives. That's just the truth. That is the absolute truth. You look at Facebook, you look at YouTube, you look at Twitter. The three primary forms of social media communications, and conservatives have oftentimes, more often than liberals, been silenced for their views and their opinions. But please, Jack, continue to make this about something other than the people you're legitimately targeting here. He goes on, number three, sorry. In 2017, we made it our top priority and made a lot of progress. Nah, not really. You didn't really. In 2017 so far, you've seen zero growth. Zero growth. Your company is tapped at about 400 million users. You're losing more than you're gaining. People aren't coming into the fold. Your IP has gone down in price. It's only about $26 a share right now, which for a company like this that's valued in like the $16 billion range, you figure your IPO would be worth a lot more money. It's not. It's a dumpster fire. You, Jack, have turned Twitter into a dumpster fire because you backed the wrong horse. You backed the wrong horse. Instead of treating everyone as equal, you sided with one over the other. A group that loves to harass and bully, but doing it from the protection of you, of your company, of your organization, knowing they can get away with this kind of stuff, right? Like, it's just so funny to watch. This is dealing with the women boycott. Today we saw voices silencing themselves and voices speaking out because we're still not doing enough. No, you idiot. You stupid, pedantic idiot. People, okay, look, let's just go back here real quick. Women boycott Twitter in solidarity with Rose McGowan. Rose McGowan was posting people's personal information, doxing. All right, her being suspended was an actual legit thing. Her being suspended was totally A-okay, above board. It is fine. You did it. You did it. It's okay. And people responded by trying to say that you did wrong by that. So they wanted to silence themselves because they don't understand context. And instead of explaining context to them, you're siding with them through this virtue signaling post. Today we saw voices silencing themselves and voices speaking out because we're still not doing enough. Doing enough to what? Stop someone from spreading personal information? Shit, dude. I've gotten legit death threats. I've reported them and you've done nothing. All right. So, I mean, that's the whole issue here. Is it because I don't have the same opinions as you? Is it because I'm not like super left wing? I'm not an ideologue in that regard, right? Is that the whole issue here? Like, I've had people print out my Twitter avatar, ejaculate on it, and send it back to me. But you know, hey man, hey, you know, it's like, nah, it doesn't matter because I'm a straight white man. That's basically what I'm taking away from this, right? It's so funny to watch this stuff play out. Now, number 5, he says here, we've been working intensely over the past few months and focused today on making some critical decisions. Ooh, I wonder what they're going to be. Probably nothing good. Nothing that's going to expand the brand. We decided to take more aggressive stance in our rules and how we enforce them. Maybe by just actually enforcing them when they are, in fact, you know, like reported, like death threats, maybe, perhaps, you know? Or sexually suggestive posts of my image completely bathed in some person's baby batter. Maybe something like that could be okay, right? Maybe, but no, it's clearly meaning that they're not banning enough people. Saying here, new rules around unwanted sexual advances, non-consensual nudity, hate symbols, violent groups, and tweets that glorify violence. All right, so unwanted sexual advances, I'm totally on board with that. I am on board with that. I don't think people out there want to be told by some random stranger on the street, hey, yo, baby, 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 you ever have your asshole licked by a fat man in an overcoat? Like, that's not something they probably want to hear. I get that. Non-consensual nudity, yeah, sending off someone a picture of your penis or another part of your body that they didn't ask for. Again, totally on board with that myself. Hate symbols, I have a feeling the Kekistani flag is going to be tossed into that. I have a feeling the Kekistani flag is going to get that entirely because it's now labeled a hate symbol or Pepe's. This is also, by the way, this is all Pepe's. So you're going to want to start using your Pepe's now because Pepe's are going to become a hot, you know, they're going to become persona non grata on Twitter. You post to Pepe, you get suspended. Like that's where we are now. A cartoon frog misappropriated by a bunch of alt-right thundercucks and then also misassociated by a presidential candidate trying to score political points with the left wing, of whom she was already greatly pandering to, but ultimately failed to deliver on. Yeah, that's the spirit, right? Violent groups, hashtag Gamergate's dead. It's over. You be part of Gamergate? Nope. You a violent hate group. Never mind the fact that the FBI did a 2-year dig into Gamergate. And guess what they discovered, friends? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But that's what's going to be labeled as. And tweets that glorify violence. I don't know. To any person out there who thinks that they're marginalized, anything's violence. Misgendering a person, intentionally or unintentionally, to some, like Riley Dennis, is considered violence. That's what they go for. That's the mantra that they want. That's what they attempt to do. So what is violence? Again, it's all subjective. You know, it's all subjective. Like Twitter likes to blanket ban people for talking crap to friends. You know, oh, you used an unfavorable word there, son. You got yourself a 12-hour ban. I mean, you know, or a week-long ban, depending on what it is. I've already been banned. I've been suspended twice recently for dropping the C-bomb. Now, granted, the one time, the first time, I will fully admit I was in the wrong. It was a mean tweet. And honestly, it was from a long time ago, and I was at a different place in my life, and it was wrong of me to do, and I get that. And the account has been deleted, so I can't send them a message apologizing for it. Other than that, yeah, this is what they want to do. And then number 8 here says these changes will start rolling out in the next few weeks. More to share next week. So that'll be fun. I'm gonna cover that. Whatever the changes are, I'm gonna cover that. But what I liked here, though, this is an interesting response back here. Eric Markowitz says here, why do you guys verify people like Richard Spencer? What signal does that send? Who are you helping by doing that? To which case Jack responds, we're reconsidering our verification policies. Not as high a priority as enforcement, but it's up there. Yeah, people like myself and Sargon of Akkad can't get freaking verified. We've been trying, right? We have brands we're under. Sargon got booted off entirely. Okay, but people like Ethan Ralph, who have run articles glorifying someone's suicide from a mockery standpoint, and caused a whole bunch of other issues. Verified. Richard Spencer, alt-right, Pepe-loving, white nationalist, verified. So it's a very odd system. It makes literally no sense as to how and why it works. I think it all depends on the whim of the person who is making that decision. But at the same time, Zoe, Randy Harper, and Anita Sarkeesian were on Twitter's Trust and Safety Council, so I'm pretty certain that that my account is entirely blocked from any of that. And so this is what's going on. This is what's going on with Twitter. It's done. It's dead. Put a fork in it. All right, and I'll tell you this too. This article popped up the other day. All right, Disney mold Twitter buy, bought BAM Tech instead. Now, in August of last year, we were hearing reports that that Twitter was going to be bought out. Right, Disney was an interested party, Microsoft was an interested party, some other companies were interested parties, and like I said before, they were valued at roughly about 16 billion, if I recall correctly, and I could be wrong, but if I remember correctly, it's about 16 billion. And as a result of that, there was like 4 companies that were looking at buying Twitter, and they had a couple days to put down an offer, and not one of them dropped an offer, not one. Then this year it comes out that Twitter has not had any growth increase, right? Their IP is stalled. Everything about this company says it's another platform on its way down. Am I going to sit there and say that Twitter has become the next freaking MySpace? The answer to that is probably. Probably. Now, you see the reason why this is happening is because people like Jack don't understand where things are going. They don't understand that you can't sit there and preach inclusion and equality and then not actually enforce those rules. So instead, you sit there and you go, whoa, we haven't been banning enough people, right? When your platform isn't growing and you start banning accounts, that's not going to work well, because people out there like freedom of expression. They like to be able to criticize those that they feel deserve it. Sometimes they go too far. I'm not going to deny that. I don't agree with that. There is definitely a difference between criticism and harassment. And I understand that people on Twitter view most criticism, some people on Twitter view criticism as harassment because of what's basically like the dogpiling part of it, of which there's no way to control it, which is why there's tools that are provided by the company. You can mute people. You can block people. Use them at your discretion. Lord knows Steve Shives has pretty much blocked everybody on Twitter except those in his own echo chamber. But this is what's happening right now, folks. Twitter started off as a great idea. Like, hey, text message each other, but on the internet. But now it's turned into this kind of almost authoritarian collective of people that don't want a difference of opinion, that don't want anyone out there that's not like them to be involved, that don't want anyone to have a say that's not them. And then if you even remotely present an alternative opinion or a valid argument against their narrative, they deem you a racist, a sexist, a homophobe, a xenophobe, Islamophobe, whatever they want to call you, whatever they can label you as a way to silence you. And then they, in their own right, are the gatekeepers of almost your livelihood. No, that's true. They're the gatekeepers of your damn livelihood. How many people out there have made a bad joke on Twitter, right, and then gone out and had themselves lose their job? Look up Justine Sacco if you don't believe me. All right, one of the reasons why I'm able to do this sort of job is because, and not have a fear of it being self-employed, is because I have support of the audience out there who watch my videos with ad block turned off because, yes, it's pesky, who support via Patreon and other crowdfunding methods, and just keep watching. That is how we fight back against this kind of authoritative nonsense, is we have to be willing to actually fight the good fight. These guys have got billions of dollars at their, supporting them. But what we have over them, and I'm not lying here, not at all, not by a long shot, we have the numbers. And it's not just so much people that are us against them. It more or less boils down to the idea that it's just like people who are pro free speech and people who are against it. And the pro people vastly outweigh the anti people. And that we have to basically fight to speak for our free speech because it always counters that other narrative. And that's why we do what we do and why we fight back against people like Jack. And if anyone from the board of Twitter happens to see this, right, get rid of this guy. He's killing your company. He's killing your brand. You can't even be bought by Disney. They chose to purchase a streaming company to compete with Netflix over taking on something that could easily thwart Facebook if done correctly. What does that tell you about who's running your company? Hey guys, that wraps up this video. If you'd like to leave a comment, please do so below. I love to read your guys' input. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really does help me in the YouTube algorithm. If you want to support the channel, there's the Amazon affiliate store, there's PayPal, there's Patreon, there's Bitcoin. And if you're bored and you want something else to watch, check out 3 Buck Theater up here. My name is Matt Jarbo. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a wonderful day. Peace out.